students lend a hand for Wuhan. Find out how you can help.
Our entertainment reporter Liam Crowley.
The Oscar goes to.
Plus our entertainment reporter Liam Crowley breaks down this year's top Academy Award show moments.
And the iconic Planters Nutmobile has arrived on campus. Find out how you can join the Planters team. All that and more, Citrus TV News starts right now.
Citrus TV News live at 6, your campus news leader.
Today was the first day back for Syracuse University students after a long weekend off. Good evening, I'm Carmella Boykin.
And I'm Kerri McAneney. The university canceled all classes on Friday, making it the 5th snow day in the university's history.
Some students used their day off to help those across the world in Wuhan through the SU fundraiser, A Hand for Wuhan. Citrus TV reporter Walker Simmons explains how the fundraiser has progressed. Walker?
Thanks, guys. Now I'm here at the Center for International Services, a resource to international students here at Syracuse. And currently, student representatives at this center are actually helping fight the coronavirus in China. Now they're doing this through a fundraiser called A Hand for Wuhan, in which they raise money to give medical supplies back to local Wuhan hospitals. Now some of these medical supplies include goggles, as well as face masks and even surgical overalls. Now, I sat down with Ruhan Shu, a student representative for this fundraiser, to learn more about what's going on.
All factories in China, but they can only afford maybe for 10 days for the disease. But the disease lasts for already 1 month, so that there are lack of supplies in Wuhan, especially in Wuhan. But all their lack supplies in all China. Mm-hmm. So we decided to help them because we are overseas, so that we can buy the supplies from outside China, so we can help them a lot. And I think if we can get more donors and we can get more money, then we can find more ways to buy supplies, because all the supplies are in a higher price, so that I think that for more money that we can buy more things to help them, people in China.
Now, Ruhan also mentioned that their initial goal was $30,000, but due to a vast amount of generous donations within the early parts of the fundraiser, they were actually able to hit that goal within the first 24 hours. Now, because of this, they changed the goal to $50,000, and they hit that yesterday. Now, it's not too late to help and donate and help medical teams in China. The fundraiser ends in 5 days. Reporting live from the Center of International Services, Walker Simmons, Citrus TV News.
Thank you, Walker. And new details in SU and ESF bias incidents. Governor Cuomo praised SUNY ESF for their response to yet another case of racist graffiti. Officials say that they have identified and suspended a suspect in the case. This comes right around the same time officials say 2 students made a report claiming a driver in passing vehicle yelled a racial slur at them by Del Plain Hall.
Happening now at SU in honor of Black History Month, the Department of African American Studies is hosting the annual Martin Luther King Jr. Public Affairs Lecture. Author and UC Berkeley professor Leigh Rayford will be leading the discussion. Rayford will discuss the life of Black Panther Party member Kathleen Cleaver. Cleaver is known for her involvement in the Black Power movement in the 1960s. This lecture marks the 37th annual MLK Memorial Lecture. And it looks like Syracuse is going to get a bit nutty. The iconic Nutmobile is making a stop right here in central New York. SU alum and peanutter Danny Higgins dropped by the Syracuse launch pad just a few hours ago to talk about advertising opportunities for graduating seniors. One of those opportunities includes driving the Nutmobile. And Kerri, it was really snowy over the weekend, but today it warmed up just a bit and the snow seems to be melting away. Yeah, making enough room for the Nutmobile to come through. Emily, is it going to be all right going through the rest of the week?
Yeah, so honestly today we did see a high temperature of 41 degrees. I would not let that fool you because we are going to be expecting some snow later in the week. But as for today, it was a little bit warmer at 41 degrees, cloudy skies and 9-mile-per-hour winds coming from the southwest direction. And then as we go into tonight, it is going to get a little bit chillier at 27 degrees. Still pretty cloudy throughout the evening, though there will be light winds at only 2 miles an hour. And then as we go into tomorrow morning, still going to be a little bit warmer at 37 degrees. Still cloudy though, 6-mile-per-hour winds coming from the northwest direction. And then All throughout today, it was pretty warm. Temperatures pretty stable around the 40-degree mark. 1 p.m. was 39 degrees, and then throughout the day, it did get a little bit chillier, 3 p.m. at 37 degrees, and then 6 p.m. at 36 degrees, and it will be cloudy as we go into the evening, and wind is slowing down towards the evening. And that's all I have for you guys right now, but stay tuned for my 5-day forecast.
Our weather anchor, Emily Karp. Emily, thank you. New details now on the fight for more gun control in New York State and across the country. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer today made a visit to Syracuse to reveal how local law enforcement is seeing a sharp rise in so-called ghost guns. CitrusTV reporter Ricky Sayer is in studio to break down what the senator wants federal officials to do. Ricky?
Thanks, guys. Chuck Schumer says there is no legislation that needs to be passed. It really comes down to convincing the ATF and the DOJ to change some rules that would prevent criminals from avoiding background checks when buying guns. The senator says the feds know about the issue but have done nothing to stop it. Senator Schumer in Syracuse today sending a message back to Washington. He's urging the DOJ and ATF to take action against a loophole he says criminals have capitalized on.
This is a ghost gun right here, and it looks like a normal gun. One problem, there's no serial number.
Here in Onondaga County, seizures of these guns have been on the rise, up from just a single one in 2017 to 23 last year.
Look at the firepower in front of you and the evil that this has caused just in Onondaga County.
It's that lack of a serial number that causes so much trouble for police.
So law enforcement, one of the best things that law enforcement has when they go to a crime scene and they find a gun, they got a serial number. They can see where it was purchased. They can go trace it and find the criminal.
This is one of the ghost guns that brought Senator Schumer to Syracuse. It was not purchased legally. Instead, it was shipped in pieces and someone put it together at their home. Schumer is asking the DOJ and ATF to do two things. First, to amend the definition of firearms to include individual parts of guns. And second, to make sure those national agencies are providing local police forces information about the guns.
And this is not getting in the way of the Second Amendment.
Schumer says 98% of Americans are against felons having guns.
This allows them to buy guns, and we want to stop that.
And we did reach out to get the responses of the DOJ, ATF, and NRA. As of right now, we have only heard back from the ATF, which says they have not yet received Schumer's letter. Also worth mentioning that Schumer told us the impeachment trial did not impact the timing of today's announcement. Kerri, Carmella, back to you.
Thanks, Ricky. County Executive Ryan McMahon wraps up his second State of the County address this evening. Ahead of the address, McMahon focused in on how successful a year 2019 has been. McMahon touched upon infrastructure and economic improvements, and saying how excited he is for an upcoming deal that will return waterfront property on Onondaga Lake back to the locals. He also offered up some new details on the Clay warehouse. Brendan Clark has pleaded guilty to second-degree murder of 17-year-old Bianca Devins. According to District Attorney Scott McNamara, Clark initially pled not guilty. Clark allegedly killed Devins in July and posted pictures of her body online. He also took a selfie with the body and then attempted suicide. While the pictures have been removed from most social media sites, they still are on the internet. Devins' mother is advocating for social media reform to have graphic photos like the ones of her daughter taken down. According to McNamara, Clark will receive the maximum sentence of 25 years to life. Coming up on Citrus TV News, our correspondents Lilia Wood and Gabrielle Caracciolo to take us to New Hampshire. Find out how people of all ages are participating in the primary elections.
And history made at the Oscars last night. Our Liam Crowley is in studio to break it all down. Don't go anywhere.
This is the story of a boy who didn't talk for a long time. The boy liked things to always be the same. Any changes would scare and upset him. The unknown was an unfriendly place. The boy was very sensitive to lights and sounds. So he built secret hiding places where they couldn't get in. The boy didn't like looking people in the eye. He wasn't trying to be mean, it just made him feel uncomfortable. Sometimes he would flap his arms again and again.
One day, I found out I have something called autism. My family got me help. Slowly, I found my voice and learned all the ways I could live with it better.
Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org.
Looking for these? You drive buzzed. It could be one very expensive ride.
First, you gotta make bail. Then pay me to get your car back.
Your insurance premiums will go through the roof.
And my legal fees just keep adding up. All told, it could end up costing you $10,000.
Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
If you see news happening on campus, in Syracuse, or across the nation, call the CitrusTV newsroom, 315-443-1177, or tweet at CitrusTV News, your campus news leader.
Instead of hanging out on the playground, some kids are in New Hampshire spending their playtime on the campaign trail. With the primary tomorrow, kids are all over the state are joining their families and canvassing for presidential candidates. Our reporter Lilia Wood is in New Hampshire ahead of the state's primaries to tell us how kids and parents are trying to make their voices heard this election cycle.
They're small but mighty.
Put that as a claim in school about how kids should be able to vote.
And they're some of the loudest voices on the campaign trail.
Andrew Yang, Elizabeth Warren, Joe Biden, Amy Klobuchar, Pete Buttigieg.
Did you hear that?
Yeah.
His dad's a Bernie supporter.
Rebecca Rajchak brings her 4-year-old son Ridian canvassing door to door.
It's important to show that you're invested in whatever that looks like. For us, it looks like getting up at 6:30 in the morning with a 4-year-old from Brooklyn saying, like, this election matters, our candidate matters.
Young families traveled up and down New Hampshire to go to all these different political events this weekend, but the parents want to make one thing clear. They're not trying to push a political agenda, but rather they want to show their kids that you can be politically active at a young age.
One of the things we hope by taking them to some of these events to see people in person is to give them the opportunity to hear what they're saying and ask us questions in real time. So I think hopefully tomorrow or today they'll learn a little bit more than they have in the past.
The kids may not be able to vote, but they want their voices heard.
Climate change.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting too. I think an issue is like people losing jobs over AI and stuff.
Climate.
Why do you think the climate is important?
Because it's the climate. Because it can do damage to certain places.
But why not step up and run for the White House someday?
I don't want to be a president, but I know what I want to be.
What do you want to be?
An 80s rock artist.
Reporting from New Hampshire, I'm Lilia Wood.
Not only is the New Hampshire primary bringing in kids, Citrus TV Gabrielle Caracciolo found out how people from all over the country come to New Hampshire to get a close look at the politicians before major decisions are made.
Hello, Concord!
Hello, Keene, how are you?
The events of primary season are nothing new for New Hampshire residents.
Back enough, it feels like family.
Presidential candidates host events in gyms like this one all across the state of the nation's first primary. But for people who don't live in an early voting state, there aren't as many options to see candidates in person unless they travel.
There's only one moment when you actually get to see all of these people close up when the decisions are still being made.
Some people travel to go to work for their favorite candidate, while others are still deciding who to work for.
We also want our boys to sort of experience seeing all the different candidates, and we want to learn about them more for ourselves.
Most people we talked to were from states in the Northeast that hold their primaries later, when more candidates have dropped out of the race.
it's not that far, and by the time this process gets to Massachusetts, it's not quite as impactful, right? So New Hampshire's special.
Not too many candidates come to Providence, Rhode Island.
Would they do it again?
I would go to South Carolina. Nevada, I think, is too far. I'm planning to do Maryland with him because we have family there.
I've already told my boss that I'll probably be taking some time off in the fall to support whoever the Democratic candidate is, wherever they need me to go.
Reporting in New Hampshire, I'm Gabrielle Caracciolo.
Thanks, Gabrielle. President Trump's budget plan for 2021 is officially out. This conservative budget aims to please the president's base ahead of the 2020 election. Trump is proposing a $2 trillion cut over the next 10 years from foreign aid and overseas military operations. But there will also be a 3% military pay raise. This plan also freezes the defense budget for next year and will cut benefits for retirees and federal employees.
Last night was the 92nd Annual Academy Awards, and the night was not short of surprises. Here to tell us more about the winners of the evening is entertainment correspondent Liam Crowley. Liam?
Thanks, Kerri. This year's Oscars ceremony was heavily anticipated by fans and critics alike, and boy did it deliver. The show opened with Brad Pitt taking home his first ever acting Oscar for his role of Cliff Booth in Quentin Tarantino's Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Pitt thanked Tarantino for his unique creativity and praised his co-star Leonardo DiCaprio. Other big winners included Taika Waititi taking Best Adapted Screenplay for Jojo Rabbit, the war epic 1917 securing cinematography, and Laura Dern winning her first Oscar for her role in Marriage Story. Renee Zellweger dedicated her Best Actress win to Judy Garland, the showbiz legend Zellweger portrayed in the film of the same name, calling the win an extension of her legacy. Fan favorite Joaquin Phoenix took Best Actor for his portrayal of the titular character in Joker. And get this, the list of Oscars won by different actors for the same role: Marlon Brando and Robert De Niro for Vito Corleone, and Heath Ledger and Joaquin Phoenix for Joker. That's the entire list. But Phoenix's win was not the history-making moment we teased before the break. The Korean picture Parasite started the night with big wins in Best Foreign Film and Best Original Screenplay. But then things started getting interesting. Bong Joon-ho won Best Director, upsetting favorites like Sam Mendes and Martin Scorsese. After 3 huge wins, Parasite's momentum was near impossible to stop. Joon-ho's black comedy thriller capped off the night by winning the coveted Best Picture, becoming the first foreign film to ever win the award. After a light Oscars campaign, the win was by far the biggest surprise of the night. To quote Song Kang-ho's character, Kai Take, you know what kind of plan never fails? No plan at all.
Wow, that's a powerful quote, Liam. And last night, like you mentioned, it was a fantastic night. A lot of action, a lot of different spectacular moments. What were some of your favorite moments?
Man, I got to give Brad Pitt's speech a huge shout out. He thanked all of his co-stars and everything. Renee Zellweger also had a great acceptance speech thanking Judy Garland, her family, for letting her portray the role, and obviously Parasite. Anytime Bong Joon-ho took the stage and said that, you know, he was going to kick back a few ones after the show, it was pretty memorable.
Mm-hmm. And Liam, understandably, you were pretty invested in the results.
Oh, yeah.
How did your predictions do?
I actually went 15 out of 20, better than I've done in any previous years. I didn't pick the categories that I didn't have any experience watching the movies, just because, you know, it was kind of a coin flip with those ones. But the ones I was invested in, I watched all 9 Best Picture nominations, and man, it really went well for me. So 15 out of 20, hoping to maybe get a perfect score next year.
Our entertainment reporter, Liam Crowley. Liam, thank you so much. And the latest in the coronavirus epidemic, the death toll of the coronavirus continues to rise internationally. The World Health Organization officials say the disease killed 97 people Sunday, bringing the total to 910. Officials say China's developed health system may make the disease appear relatively mild.
They went on to say that this may change if the outbreak reaches countries with weaker health systems. This comes as 23 Americans are among those on board the ship, Diamond Princess, who have contracted the virus. The infected passengers have been brought ashore for treatment while the ship remains in quarantine in a Japanese port. And coming up, stay tuned to see if we will be expecting any more snow this week.
Stay with us.
They'll test you. Try to break your will. But however loud the loudness gets, however many cheese puffs may fly, you're the driver, the one in control. Stand firm. Just wait. And move only when you hear the click that says they're buckled in for the drive. never give up till they buckle up.
What are you, superheroes?
Just four brothers who hate bullies and love this city. Gear up, guys.
I see you mobbing over her. Let's go. Let's mob. Let's crawl. Let's crawl. Let's crawl. Hey, yo, we mobbing. Come on, girl. Let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl. Hey, let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl.
From the CitrusTV Weather Center, this is SU's most accurate weather forecast.
Right now, we're seeing temperatures pretty consistent around the Syracuse area, around the 40-degree mark. And in Syracuse, it is a high of 42 degrees in central New York and at a low in Rome in 36 degrees. The rest in the area pretty stable around 38 degrees. And as we move into tonight, a little bit chillier at 27 degrees. It's going to be mostly cloudy and light winds at 2 miles per hour. And as we move into tomorrow morning, a little bit warmer at 37 degrees, cloudy throughout the day and 6-mile-per-hour winds. And for your 5-day forecast, today and tomorrow going to be pretty overcast. Today it was a high of 42 degrees and a low of 27 degrees. As we move into tomorrow, still cloudy and a little bit chillier at 37 degrees and a low of 27 degrees. Wednesday, expect some sun to come out, though it will be partly cloudy throughout the day. 38 degrees and a low of 33 degrees. But then preparing for Thursday and Friday, there will be snow this week. Thursday, expect the morning to be a little bit lighter, but then as we move into the evening, it is going to be a chilly low of 11 degrees, preparing for Friday morning, where we will expect AM snow showers with a high of 15 degrees and a cold low of -1 degrees. So in those negative degrees, definitely prepare for the snow and the freezing temperatures and the ice on the roads. That's all I have for you guys now. Nicole, what's up in sports?
Thanks, Emily. Coming up in sports, an upset, a buzzer beater, and 2 7-goal performances. All this combines to make a successful weekend of Syracuse sports. I've got all the highlights, plus an update from the Syracuse women's lacrosse game happening right now in the Dome when News Live at 6 returns.
Your girls have been with you through every moment of your life. They were with you when you felt unbreakable. With you that time you felt most alone. And with you when you realized you would never be. They were with you when you shared your love with the world. And with you when she became your world. Your girls have never left you. They're still with you right now. But how well do you know them? Knowing your breasts can save your life.
Everybody has a dream. Mine was to see the ocean. And with a little help, I made it.
Leaving hot coals improperly extinguished can cause a wildfire.
Hey guys, it's Smokey!
It looks as if Smokey is going to use the drown, stir, drown, and feel technique. After the first drown, a good start. Next, another drink. And finally, a close feel.
Is it cool? Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, Smokey, catch! Oh, my bad, Smokey.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
And now, your CitrusTV Sports Report.
Some heavy snowfall may have canceled classes on Friday, but if the show must go on, Syracuse sports should too. The weekend kicked off with the season openers for both lacrosse teams, but just 3 days later, Gary Gates girls are already facing their second opponent of 2020. And currently it's halftime in the Dome as Stony Brook is tied with Syracuse 7-7, approaching into that second half score. Emily Chuck leading the way with 2 goals, but look at Taryn Ohlmiller. 5 goals for the Seawolves captain. Absolutely dominant out there. We'll have to see how that game ends up. But then when taking a look at what happened on Friday, it was a young Canisius team against an experienced Syracuse squad. Big reason why, Emily Chuck, the senior. Remember that name, it may come back to haunt. And Megan Carney, some big firepower from the Texas sophomore as Syracuse goes up 6-1. And then Carney to Chuck for the quick stick goal as the Orange extended their lead. And why not one more for the senior? This time from Megan Tyrell to Chuck. She would have 7 goals on the afternoon as Syracuse goes on to win 21-6. They remain perfect under head coach Gary Gate in season openers. But then before the women's team won their game, the men's lacrosse team faced off against CNY rival Colgate, looking to avenge their loss from last year's season opener to the Raiders. And Chase Ganlin, a big reason why. Number 22, that one off the feed from Stephen Rafis. This one unassisted as Syracuse takes a 9-3 lead early in the second quarter. And then Griffin Brown, the left-handed sidearm rip as Colgate would bring the game in and keep it competitive, but then Chase Ganlin too much to handle. That one off the assist from Griffin Cook. Syracuse wins 21-14, avenging that last year's loss. And after lacrosse dominated on Friday, men's basketball took over the Dome on Saturday. The Orange dropped back-to-back contests with Clemson and Duke before the Demon Deacons visited the Salt City. This game should have been a cakewalk, but it turned into a nail-biter. Now, Syracuse, they sit in the top 5 of the ACC. Wake Forest, not so much, but the Orange showing why they're dominant from the start. Back-to-back three-pointers, first Buddy Boeheim, then Elijah Hughes, as Syracuse led by 8 at the half. But Wake, they'd come fighting back as 3 bigs, including Barama Sidibe, fouled out for Syracuse. So then Ishmael Massoud knocks the game up at 73 each, and then Bryson Godine, the freshman, as time runs out, puts back a second chance game winner as Syracuse wins 75-73. And then on Sunday, the Syracuse women's basketball team was looking to reclaim a winning record for the first time in a while, but number 5 Louisville, no easy task. It started out sloppy for both teams until Emily Angsler passed it out to Kiera Lewis for the 3, and Syracuse led by 10 at the half. But the Cardinals, they'd cut the deficit to 4 off the Jasmine Jones put-back layup. And then Jones, she'd make a mistake in the fourth quarter, throwing the ball away as Syracuse goes on to win 59-51, and it was the 300th win for Coach Q.
It's hard to put it into words. You come here and when you get your first one, you're really happy. And I remember my first one and how that felt. And I've just been blessed and had an amazing opportunity to coach at a great place. That's had people that's been supporting me from day one.
When we come back, we'll have one last look at your weather. Oh! That was incredibly awkward. So sorry. That was really weird.
Did you hear about the pony with a sore throat? He was a little horse. Can I tell you a cat joke? Just kidding. Why couldn't the Why was the basketball court all wet? Why? Because the players kept dribbling all over it. Where did cats go on vacation? New York.
That's all the
the time we have for you tonight on Citrus TV News. Make sure you follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook, and even check out our new social media show, The Tab.
Both Carmella and I are on it, so I'm a little partial to it. I'm Kerri McAneney. Have a great evening, Syracuse.